All right, so what we learned about is we created a pipeline using the GUI, and that's called the classic editor. All right, this is specifically helpful when you're new to Azure DevOps or any of the CI/CD platform, or either you're not coming from the dev or infrastructure background, be it your BA or product owners who just want to get their hands dirty and understand how they can also get a gist of how the CI/CD works into Azure DevOps. And this is one of the cool feature. They initially, when they started Azure DevOps, this was the first feature they launched in terms of CI/CD, and then it got to elevated into YAML, which we're going to learn into upcoming session. So what we did, we created the pipeline, ran successfully. We had multiple steps also, wherein we created the resource group, planned service plan, and a web application. What we have is we have a repository, which is a Python application, a hello world program, and we're going to just package it and understand how we could just utilize the Azure DevOps task again to deploy the same Python application onto Azure web application. If you want to learn more about Azure DevOps, probably you could look at some other courses or do it just Google. It's a serverless platform where you can deploy your application. You just all you need to know about Azure application, Azure web app at the moment is that. So if you go to our pipeline, just gonna edit our pipeline, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a new task, and this time it's going to be Azure web. And yeah, that's gonna be Azure web app, so I'm gonna add it. Right, so what I'm gonna do is deploy app, and yeah, that's the display name, and then we're going to use the connection, service connection, whether it's going to be deployed on a Linux or a Windows app. Then the app name can be picked up right from here, and then we're going to use it right over here, and then the package which we're going to deploy. Right, so the package is the folder which we have the code. So underneath the package we've got the app.py, we've got the readme requirement.txt, a sample hierarchy of a Python application, a basic hierarchy of a Python application. Hit on OK. We could use the tech stack also, whether you want to run it on a Ruby, Node.js, Python. We're going to use the Python, and then if there are any startup or init script which you want to run. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit on save and create, and we can just gonna wait for it to be deployed. So it's gonna run through again the same process. First it's gonna pull out the agent on which all of these tasks going to be running. So we have created 4 different tasks, right? So they need to run on some sort of virtual machine or a physical server. The build agent does that job of running all of these tasks onto that particular machine in the background, and it's completely handled by Azure DevOps or Azure in the background. We don't have to worry about it. We could use the custom build agent also. At the end we have a separate session also for it. All right, so it's just validating if it's there or not. Since it exists, it's just gonna quickly validate and move on to the next one. All right, so it's gonna try to create it, but the resource group exists right here. All right, it's going to move on to the next one, and what we are interested is this particular task, Azure web app deploy. So we're going to give it a few seconds and then wait for it to complete. So it's running the second last step, wherein it is evaluating where the web app exists or not, and as you can see the web app already exists. So it's going to just skip it, overwrite it, and move on to our last task, which is where we are deploying the web application, and this is where we are interested at. So it's getting the service connection, packaging the application as a zip folder, and then it's going to deploy onto the appropriate app services. All right, the logs can be viewed right over here. The package has now successfully deployed to the app services, and now you can start troubleshooting or start accessing or start building more cool features for your application and do the same task again and again. You could do a CED for the application also, which we are obviously going to learn in the upcoming session. So this was it from this session. In the next session we're going to get started in a detailed manner where we're going to build a Terraform infrastructure, and then we're going to deploy onto our different environment as well. I hope this was informative. Thank you.